You're listening to the Couch Friends podcast with Crystal, Jenna, and Christy.
Hey, welcome back to the Couch Friends. I'm Crystal, and I'm joined with Christy and Jana, and we also have some dog friends. We've got Pippa and Cooper and Tuss, and we're really excited to just be back on the couch talking all things friendship today.
Yes.
So in our last episode, we kind of revealed a little bit about why we named this podcast Couch Friends. And we talked about how like a couch friend is a friend who loves you for who you are. They don't care what your house looks like. They don't care what you look like.
Yep. You can stop in any time.
That's right.
Yep.
They can join you for some wine, some coffee, some tea, or for nothing at all. You don't have to feel like you need to be a good hostess or anything. It's just, hey, it's so good to see you. What's up with what's going on with your life today? So today we're going to talk about what makes a good friend. We're going to take a look at like the qualities. What do you guys think a good quality of a friend is? What does mom friendship look like? Because that's definitely different than, other friendships we've had maybe earlier on in our lives, especially like when we were kids. Then we'll go from there. So let's start with, how do you define a good friend?
I think for me, what really defines a good friend is somebody who not only is there for you in the hard times, but is also somebody who celebrates you in the good times. I think the very best friends are the ones that are happy for you, are somebody that you know is going to, celebrate the good times with you also.
And I think I agree. I also think that, I've moved around a lot, and so I've made friends in different areas of the world, right? Yeah. And I think my true friends are the ones that even if we haven't talked for 2 or 3 years, if we were to call and talk that day, we could pick up like we just talked the day before. Yeah. And that's a true friend to me.
I agree.
Somebody that we don't really have to rehash the last 3 years. We just pick right up, and they know where I'm at and I know where they're at, and I love that.
I agree. Yeah. And it's good to have those friends too.
Yes.
I think and I do agree that also is, I think, what a true friend is somebody that you don't have to talk to every day, or even you can go months without talking to, and it's like you guys were just together the day before.
Yeah.
And them celebrating your wins is huge because, you need that support and from them.
Yeah. I say yes to all of that for sure. I think especially, I know in my life, I have very many friends and we don't talk every day. But I still consider them really, really good friends. And it is the kind of friendship where like a lot of time has passed, but when we do get together, it's like we jump right back into where we left off, and we kind of are like, how's this going on? And it's not like surface level, like, oh, great, you got a new haircut. It's really like, how are your kids? What are you struggling with? How can I pray for you in that struggle? Like, what's going well for you? That's amazing. And even just like, how's your marriage? How it's like a checkup on the relationships in your life, and but not in a bad way, not where you're like feeling called out or like, oh my gosh, I have to give answers to this person. It's like you want to share with them. So
and I think the key with that is, once again, you know enough about them, even though maybe you haven't talked to them every day, what what is going on in their life to check up on. Right? You know that their kids are doing XYZ, they're involved in this kind of thing, and you can check and see how they're doing, or their husband got a new job, or whatever it is. Even though
very cool. So let's go the opposite side. What is not of friends? Maybe you have a experience to share, but what is not a friend?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is someone who, when you talk, they only talk about themselves. That drives me crazy. And there really is no interest in you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think when I talk with my friends, they, are going through a hard time, and we do talk just about them, right? But if it's continuous with that friend, I don't know if that's really a true friend to me. Someone who's really just there to have you listen to them all of the time and not really show any interest in your life.
I 100% agree with that. And that is probably one of the biggest pet peeves for me with just people in general. And I tend to really pull away from people who do that. But I agree, it is very important in being a good friend to be interested in your friends' lives and curious and ask questions. And I think asking questions, to anyone, whether it's an acquaintance or, somebody at work or even like a best friend, it's very important to be curious about their life and, make them feel seen and cared for in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could really, it's sad to say sometimes that a test of a true friendship is when you're going through something really hard and uncomfortable. I think sometimes it's easy to be friends when things are fun and life is good and everything is happy. But, when the hard times come along, I think a true friend really will stick it out with you. They will listen to you. They will let you vent.
Check up on you.
Yes, absolutely. I think especially when you're going through a hard time, it's easy to, I know in my own life, I am like, I'll become a little turtle.
Yeah.
I just go right into my own little self.
Yep. Yeah.
And then it's because it's just easier, to deal with stuff on my own. But I know that when I have a friend who checks up and says, how are you really doing? I've been thinking about you. I've been, praying for you. You've been on my mind a lot. Like that helps me know like, oh, like I'm really cared for and I can have a person that can listen to my heart or my heartache.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they help make it feel better.
Yeah.
Like they, in a way, they help heal because they're open to listening. And I mean, I feel like there is sort of a balance, right? Because we can't always be a friend where like we're constantly like, wah, wah, wah.
Right.
Like
the friend with problems all the time.
Yes,
it's a little draining for the other person.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. So there is a balance of like,
yes,
that, which, I don't know where the balance is, but I think we've kind of already said it where, the friend who's not in the hard time can help the friend who is in a hard time and vice versa. So when that friend goes through a hard time, like you're there kind of, not like it's a trade-off or like a 50-50 or anything, but like,
but it is
that.
I've seen this, like graph of what it is. If you think of like a hill and then a valley, a hill, a valley, a hill, a valley. And at the top of the hill is, it's like an ebb and flow. There are times when you are asking others for help. There are times when you are helping others. Like it's a give and take. It's, you're there for them when they need help. They're there for you when you need help. And it goes both ways. And maybe you're both going through something really difficult at the same time. And, you have to kind of meet each other there. But yeah, I think that's also piggybacking off of what you were saying. I know for me, when I've had times where I've had somebody come to my mind, I have found that if I just send them a quick text or something, just, hey, I was just thinking about you. I just wanted to, check in and say, hey, I have found that a lot of times they respond with something like, oh my gosh, like crying emojis. Like,
Yes.
I can't believe that you texted me. Like, I'm dealing with this really difficult thing or whatever. And I'm like, well, I feel like God just brought you to my mind. And I just wanted to let you know, that I was thinking about you. So I've really learned to lean into that and to listen to that. I feel like God does put people on our minds when, we maybe need to check in on them. So I always, I try to really lean into that and try to do it when I think of somebody. I think that's important.
Yes. And I think also on the flip side of that is I try to remind myself that when I'm in a place or a time where I'm just like alone, it's safer alone, that's when I have to tell myself I need to reach out to somebody that I trust, somebody that I know will be patient with me and let me just talk for a little while. And then so that I could it's almost like reconnect myself to people so that I can, I don't know, feel better or feel just
because we need
more
that
whole again. Yeah. Instead of the isolation, feeling like, I don't know, there's just, I know that there's probably scientific proof out there when you're connected to other human beings, like, there's healing there and wholeness, like, and happiness in a way. So, yeah.
And I think, I was going to say too, I think when you're talking about if you're going through something, I mean, I think for myself, I have probably my top 2 people that if I'm in, even if it's not just a big issue, maybe it's just had a rough morning with the kids. Like, I just need to text somebody to like, just listen to me. And just sometimes it starts with, I just need to vent. Am I crazy? Or is it my child? Or what is wrong here? Do I have to say this over and over again? Whatever it is, whatever the issue is you're dealing with, or if it's, something bigger, but you have someone that is there that you can trust and that that they're going to respond to your text, or they're going to call you, or they're going to show up to your house. That's important.
Yeah.
That's a friend.
Yep.
What do you think about a friend who sometimes has to say hard things?
Like to
that,
you?
Yeah, that maybe you're like, I don't really want to hear that, but you're thankful for it in the long run. Like,
I think that's a true friend.
Yeah. I think initially it can be a little jarring, especially for people who don't like conflict like myself. I like to avoid conflict. But if I had somebody say something really hard to me, I would probably be taken aback a little bit by it at first, but I would be very grateful that they were a good enough friend to say something to me.
That actually happened to me recently. I was having a conversation with a friend, and they said, well, Jana, you're so this. And I kind of was like, oh, no, I'm not. But then afterwards, after the conversation was over, I thought, yeah, you are, Jana. You are a little bit of that. You need to tone it down. And they weren't saying it in a bad way. It was just, well, if you lessened that, it might help you with dealing with the problem, right? And like you said, it was a little jarring. I was defensive, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
But it was good to hear, and I did need to hear it.
Yeah.
And I mean, iron sharpens iron, right? So
absolutely.
It's you want friends in your life, and you want people in your life who want you to be the best version of you. So,
and that I could not dish it because it's not really an insult, but just I could say the same thing to that person if something were, and they would take it. Maybe they would be a little taken off as well.
I think that's human nature to be a little bit defensive. Yeah,
but it's all out of love.
Yes. And it's all on how the person approaches you with
Absolutely.
it and says it, because somebody else could say the same thing to you in a different way, and it would not mean the same thing, and it would not be received the same way. It could be received as an insult. So, but that is a good friend. Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't Crystal.
It wasn't us.
No, I agree. I think there's sometimes, like, not that I want to constantly receive criticism, but I do wish sometimes that, like, in my life that I had a person, and I probably do, maybe that, I mean, and I feel like I'm looking at both of you. I think that if I really need an opinion about myself, I could be like, tell me honestly, this is what happened. Did I overreact? Am I a little bit kind of like high? like high, I don't know the word, but just like help me rationalize this. Or like, I tend to lean this way on a subject, and maybe I need to come back more towards the middle, you know. And I have always, in a way, secretly wished I had somebody always next to me being like, did I do that wrong? Like, what do you think?
I think that's where my I think I do this often to Christy. I'm like, I'll say something to someone and then I just can't stop thinking about that I said it. I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. And I'll worry and worry and worry.
Oh, obsess over things.
Yes.
I do that too.
Yes.
Oh,
so
all the
annoying.
time. Yeah. I think that is an anxiety thing. I don't know.
Cut.
I'll lay awake at night thinking about something I said 4 months ago. Or how I could have said it differently. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what friendship looks like as a mom. I mean, as far as not just like who your friends are as a mom. I mean, we could delve into that because I'm thinking about women out in the world who, once you become a mom, you guys know you don't always get to choose your friends. I mean, you sort of do, but not all the time. The people you're hanging out with are your kids' moms or the soccer team moms or whatever. So let's talk a little bit about that. Can you still find true, deep, real friendship as a mom in the kind of forced realms that we live in?
Well, the answer is absolutely
I mean,
yes.
I feel like that's how we found each other.
Right. I feel like that's what you guys are.
Right?
Right.
We found each other from
Our kids.
our kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are literally friends because our kids were friends. Well, our kids were friends first.
Yep.
And we're friends because we walk to school with our kids every morning.
Yep.
I will say, though, that in the earlier years of being a mom, it was a lot harder for me to make good friends, good other mom friends, probably because when your kids are little, they don't have they don't have a lot of like really good friends. They just have like little people they play with or whatever. Like you go to the park and they play with the kids who are at the park. And but yeah, I think it's definitely different when you become a mom. And also I think that friends that maybe who aren't moms, you just change completely when you become a mom. And I think having other mom friends really is important because, you know, those are people who understand what your life is like at this point.
I mean, I think that's the key is they're going through maybe not the exact same issue that you're dealing with a child or just in being a mom, but they can say, they've experienced that at some point. I mean, I think we had a text message just the other day
Last night,
where Christy wrote something and Crystal wrote, like 100 times. And I said, about 200 times.
And my response was, that makes me feel better. You know, I mean, it really does make me feel better.
And that's
there is comfort in knowing that like you're not alone and you're not the only person who feels that way or does that or experiences something. You know, there is comfort in having other people who understand you and understand where you are like in life and like
but also can give you advice or what's worked for them.
Yes.
You know, I think that's important. So maybe, you know, like Crystal has older children, right?
Yeah.
And so she's been in the mom
Yeah.
path for a little bit longer, right? And so, you know, but then have other experiences you can share and help us. And I've tried this. This didn't work. You know, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say when I was a younger mom, I did have a hard time really like making friends with other moms. Like I had friends outside of being a mom. Like I would say like a lot of my friends that I made in my college days are still my friends today, but they weren't like in my life every day as a young mom. Like every once in a while I would meet up with them. So, you know, I felt like as a young mom with young kids, my life was a lot of like, well, what play date are we invited to? Or what, you know, thing is my little kid going to where I'm going to meet other moms? And it was actually really hard for me because my child struggled with a neurodivergent diagnosis that I didn't even know of at the time. I just knew like, oh, my kid is a little bit different from the other kids, but I couldn't figure it out why. And I would try to talk about it with other people, but nobody really understood exactly what I was going through. I think I had like maybe one other friend who could understand So that was really life-giving at that part of my life, to have one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it can be, if you're a mom out there that has young ones and you kind of feel stuck and like, am I ever going to meet other people? Yes, the answer is yes, you will. Keep looking.
Yes. Yes.
Because now I would say, now that my children are older, I have 2 that are teenagers, 1 that's still in elementary school. I've had wonderful friends come across my path. And now, because of my experience of having, I would say, like, young children, young neurodivergent children, that now I feel like happy and excited to be able to walk alongside other moms who are like struggling the same way that I did. And I can say to them, like, I know exactly how you feel. Like, you are not alone.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that, but it was hard. So I mean, I feel trying to make relationships, especially when your kids are really little,
because they're very all-consuming when they're that young. Yeah. They are all-consuming. You are constantly keeping an eye on them and following them and making sure they're not doing this or getting into that. And I think it is a lot harder to, have just even time for yourself, but much less, cultivating really good friendships.
And I think too, just thinking about when my kids were, toddlers, I would say, sometimes as a young mom, you don't really even have the energy to take the kids out and do things, right? You're just kind of, but then that doesn't help you get out and meet people. Yeah. But it's important. And so I remember when we moved for the first time far away from my family, we lived in Alaska at the time, and I didn't know a soul. And how I met 3 moms was it was 1 hour. We went to the library, the little library time that they had at the community library, and we would go every week, and it was 1 hour, but I did it and we became friends, just meeting people that way. I think that's, if you just try just a little bit, that can really help.
Yeah. Just putting yourself out there.
Yep.
Join something, go somewhere, a lot of times I think one of the things that I always tended to do was stay at home, because it was easier with the kids, especially with 3 and when they were really little, like loading 3 small children into the car and the car seats, and it just was exhausting. A lot, especially to do by yourself. Yeah. So I mean, you really just, it's part, have to make an effort. You really have to make an effort, and they're not going to really come find you. Like, you have to put yourself out there and at least put yourself in a position where somebody could come find you. But yeah. And
I would say, have some couch friends.
That's right.
Don't be afraid to invite them over into your laundry,
because
that's all over the couch.
Exactly.
It's all over the couch,
not folded
right
too.
Now.
You could just have a sock folding party.
Yes, that's right. You could just like fold each other's laundry,
because there's always socks to be folded.
Oh my gosh.
And let the babies play, and it's okay. It's okay, and just being okay with it. You know, I think that's such a freeing feeling to know that, like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
Like,
and here's a big secret. Nobody actually does care if your house is a mess. Like, I've always felt like people care when they come over if my house is a mess. But the truth of the matter is I don't care if I go to somebody's house and it's a mess. I really don't. Like, it doesn't bother me. It only bothers me if my house is a mess.
And I think we notice more of the mess in our own house than the others that walk in.
Right.
They don't notice.
No.
They
don't care.
Yeah, no.
And if they do,
they're not a friend.
You don't need that kind of friend.
They're out.
Yeah. I'm always like, I'm so sorry for my counters, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So, speaking of the mom life is really busy, no matter what age your kids are, whether they're teenagers, even if they're in college, even if they're little tiny ones. So, how do we maintain friendship? I feel like we've talked about this a little bit, but let's center in on it. How do you maintain friends with moms in the busyness of life? Like, maybe it's like something you try to consciously do now, or maybe we just like have a little brainstorming session, because I texted them this week. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been talking to you like all week. I don't even know how your day is going. I'm the worst friend.
And you're not. Like, life is busy, and we all know that. And, I think I think, and for me personally too, sometimes I have to make a conscious effort to be very intentional. And that's how you cultivate any relationship in your life, is you have to be intentional. You have to make a choice, to do this or that. So,
or when that thought that we've talked about before, right? The impression that you get sometimes to check on someone, do it.
Yeah.
Do it then. Because there's been times in my life where maybe I've been, I don't know, literally driving to a sporting event, right? Driving to and I'm like, I need to text so-and-so. Are they okay? Well, I can't text them right now. I'll text them, and I don't, and then I forget, right? So if you just do it in a quick text.
Yeah. Yep.
Or a funny meme, or I don't know, to make them laugh.
Just something that they know that you're thinking about them. You haven't forgotten them. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And there's a lot of meme sending back and forth too that like we do together, that I do with like other friends too. That's how we communicate a lot of the times.
I think a little something to remember them on their birthday too. That's always, sometimes us as moms, our birthdays aren't as, I don't know.
Yeah.
Grand or important, or
we're busy, but I don't know, celebrate. I know us, we always celebrate each other's birthdays. Yeah. And that's fun.
And I always look forward to that. That's, I don't know. That's one of my favorite parts of everybody's birthday. I love going out for everybody's birthday.
I mean, we know on our birthday we're going to get a paid for dinner.
That's right.
And that's an intentional thing. That it's just like, we're going to do that for each other because.
And we haven't missed one for.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Got the next one coming up in May.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. When you think about it, do it. I actually have just a little example, and it's not an example from my own life, but actually my husband has a friend that is very intentional about texting every Tuesday. He texts him every Tuesday. It's almost the same question, like, how can I pray for you this week? Like, how are you doing? And at first he was like, wow, just like every Tuesday. I think it almost threw him back because he wasn't used to having somebody check in with him regularly. Yeah. But it's been over a year. I want to say probably 2 years that this friend has done this. And my husband has been like, it's been very meaningful to him. I'll just say that somebody is that consistent.
That's amazing.
To constantly ask, how are you? How can I pray for you? So, I mean, you might start and be like, well, it seems weird to pick a day to text all my friends or something. But I'm like, I think I'm going to like maybe try
I like that
like
idea.
Set up. I want you to know that you're special in my life and I'm thinking about you. And if there's anything you need, let me know.
And how nice for that friend too, to know that like they have something to look forward to. They have something to anticipate. Like, okay, I know this person's going to check in on me. Like, you know, I know no matter what, like on a Tuesday, next Tuesday, like this person is going to contact me and we're going to have a conversation. And
Duke.
He's just like,
Duke
I'm
cannot
your
leave
friend
Crystal
too.
alone.
I'm your
Duke
friend.
will always check upon you. Hi, Duke.
Yes, he will. He comes in for
he
the
said
friendly
every
pets.
Tuesday, Crystal.
Gosh, it's going to be
And Monday and Friday.
He loves Crystal. He loves both Jana and Crystal.
These dogs are something else.
Yes.
And one of them just had some jazz.
I'm glad it must be that way.
I think it was
smell-
Pippa. I think it was Pippa.
It. Cooper said, not me.
So I want to share a story about 3 little 7th graders that I teach because the other week they taught me just a really sweet lesson about friendship. And then I want to see if maybe we can do what they did for each other. Okay, hold on. I've got to put Duke down.
Duke, sit.
He's the biggest of all the puppies, but he thinks he's tiny.
He does.
Yes.
Duke,
he keeps trying to come up.
Sit.
Okay. So these wonderful, amazing, I'm just going to tell the story. It's fine.
Yep.
These wonderful, amazing 7th graders were sharing their New Year's resolutions, which first of all, the fact that a 7th grader has a New Year's resolution is amazing. Like they're actually thinking like, what do I want to get better at this year? And so in my class, I have two boys and a girl. And the girl shared her New Year's resolution, and she was like, this is what I want to do. I won't share what it is. It's nothing. It was really kind of like just a tiny little thing. It wasn't like anything huge. She's like, this is what I want to do, but I don't, but she went immediately negative. She was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Like, I really want to, but I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how, or whatever. And so we all started just talking, well, you could do this and you can do that. And if you do this every day, like, you'll be able to achieve your goal. And then the boy sitting next to her just turned to her, the sweetest thing ever. And he goes, I'm going to text you every day and ask you if you did what we had been talking about, which it happened to be some certain exercises. I'm going to text you every day and just make sure that you did your exercises.
7th graders?
Yes. Every day.
Sweet.
Just to make sure that you did your exercises for the day so that you can reach your goal at the end of the year. And he was dead serious. Like, I'm going to text you every day. Like, a little accountability for her. And in that moment, I just was like, everybody needs that type of friend.
Yeah.
That somebody that's going to just care enough,
Encourage,
to check in and know that that person has something that they want to achieve, but they're nervous that they're not going to achieve it without help,
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's
really
impressive.
sweet.
I know it was. Maybe he'll come on our podcast
That's
one
a
day.
sweet kid. Wow, what a sweetheart he has.
Yes.
He probably has a
Yeah.
lot to teach us.
Yes, he
Probably.
does.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be a fun way kind of to end this session. And I'm going to extend the challenge to our audience as well. That maybe there's one thing in your life, in my life right now, a personal goal that you're thinking of, like, you want to achieve. Maybe there's not a time limit on it. It doesn't have to be like this year necessarily. It could be like by next month or just whenever it happens. But is there a personal goal that if you had somebody come alongside you to support you, that you feel like, I think I could actually achieve it if I had somebody kind of checking up on me? It could be something little, something, any sort of thing. So I'm just going to throw that open and see.
I know the only thing that makes me successful at regularly working out is somebody that holds me accountable and that I know is waiting for me at like 5:30 in the morning outside. That if I don't show up, I'm letting them down.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that comes to mind. I definitely need a person that holds me accountable to do something like that consistently. I can do it, but to keep it up consistently is always my problem.
Yeah.
I think I was going to say, if I had somebody say, Janet, did you do your 30-minute walk today? Did you walk for 30 minutes today? Just a small goal, right? Because I don't run, but I do like to walk. And some days I don't make it a priority, but it's good to get out. I like to walk my dogs. They give me an excuse to walk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nothing. But if I had somebody that checked in on me, and I think drinking enough water. I need to drink more water. Did you drink your water? Did you run? Did you walk? Not yet, but I'm gonna.
All right. We need to join forces then.
I know. I was like, oh, 2
Yeah.
exercise related goals. That's awesome.
What about you?
For me, I had a hard time thinking about this because I'm like, which one should I pick? I don't know. But I think for me, mine almost matches your guys' by way of, like, I already exercise regularly.
Yeah,
like, I've got it regimented, but I want to do it earlier, so that I have more time for my family to help my family out. Because really I would say probably the goal would be that I have more time to help my family as far as, like, man, I wish I had better examples in my head, but, like, like if my husband really needed breakfast one morning, like, I wouldn't have to be like, oh, I need to exercise. Like, and we work it out. So that's like a really not a great example, but I think that I could be more available if I was getting up a little bit earlier. And then I would do my exercise a little bit earlier. And I also want to work in just a little bit of time with the Lord and me, so that I'm not pushing it later into my day.
Yeah.
That's so that the goal is to get up
Getting up earlier.
You think like 30 minutes?
I'm thinking like 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
So like you guys will laugh at me if I tell you. Like my alarm goes off at 6, but I do not get up until 7:30. Which I know you guys are already sending kids out the door.
So are you
I
asleep
know.
till 7:30 or you?
I'm like hitting the snooze button,
Oh, okay.
being
Crystal,
lazy.
Just set your alarm for 7:30 so you get a
Yeah.
very good hour and a half of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
okay.
So, but my heart is like, I need to get up at 6. I want to get up at 6, and that's like my goal for the new year is to get up earlier. I just haven't done it yet, so that way I can do those things that I love to do on my own. Like I love quiet time. I want to do them earlier so that it doesn't eat into my later part of my day, and then I'm like, oh, we gotta go.
I know, and then everything's so fast.
Running out of time.
Rushed.
Yeah.
I like to have 30, 45 minutes to myself as well in the morning. Whatever it is, whether it's I'm already showered and ready before I have to go.
Yeah.
But as long it just starts me off on the right foot.
The mornings go a lot smoother.
Yes.
I feel like if I
Yes.
have that also. Yeah.
All right. So I feel like between the three of us, we could hold each other accountable on that. We'll have to talk about like exactly how.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know if you want to receive a text at 5:30 in the morning like get up.
Get up and get outside and walk.
Yes. So but yeah, that's exciting. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to like revisit
Yeah.
and
we
see
can
if
check
we've
in.
been able
Yep.
to like help each other out. And also I extend that to you guys. Like if there's a goal that you need help with and you just want somebody to help you out with it, or you just need a word of encouragement, just leave it in our comment section, or text us or message us on Instagram, however you find us. I think we have a Facebook. Like
Yeah, there's a Facebook group. You can join the Facebook group, and
so they would find it on
the Couch Friends podcast. There's a page, and then there is a Facebook group they can join.
Okay, so you can leave there, and we will
One
get
of
back
us,
to
you never know who it is.
We'll be there too.
We'll be there too.
In the comment section.
Checking up on you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a little bit about friendship.
I love it.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.